Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gavinsky's Tutorials. Today I'm going to do a quick walkthrough. I'm not going to go through all the controls or anything. I'm just going to point out some of the main features of J8 Synth by AudioKit for iPad and iPhone. So this is based on the Roland Jupiter-8. I haven't played a Jupiter-8, so if you're familiar with one, you can let us know in the comments, how authentic you find this sound or not. I'll go through a few presets first. And then we'll look at some of the important controls. So it comes with a bunch of different presets by different sound designers. I love the name of this preset, once a PWM a time. Great name. Let me just tab through these. I'll tell you this, I find it very hard to get used to the way the tabbing system works in these AudioKit synths. I'm really not a fan of that. I find myself getting super confused and getting lost in the app so often. Okay. So let's go back to basically a modified init patch. And so what we've got here is we're hearing oscillator 1, right? Amp is up. The second oscillator is down completely. The mix here I've just set in the middle. So we're just hearing oscillator 1. Now, if we bring in the cross mod, now we're getting modulation coming from oscillator 2. So here we're not hearing that, but we could bring it in if we wanted to. And the sound of this is going to depend on oscillator 2's waveform and frequency. Okay, so that's our cross mod. Now I can bring in oscillator 2, so we'll just bring the amp up, and so mix all the way to the right. Here we're hearing oscillator 2, which I've pitched up, and here over to the left we're just hearing oscillator 1. So another thing I could turn on is the oscillator sync, where we slave oscillator 2's waveform to oscillator 1, so every time an oscillator 1 waveform resets its phase, oscillator 2 also gets pulled back to the start of its phase. So have a listen to what it sounds like with sync on when I change oscillator 1's range here. And this is what that would be like with sync off. Right? Sync on. Right? Here that's detuned, and now that sounds nicely in tune. It's just got a different timbre and everything. Okay, now let me turn oscillator 2 down again for a second, and let's just go through the waveforms for oscillator 1. So the original Jupiter-8 didn't have sine oscillator on oscillator 1, but that's added here. Now with the pulse waveform, then we could change its pulse width. So if this is set to M, I'm just modulating it manually. Now this one here, if I tap here, it should be the LFO modulating it, but I'm not getting any. You know, if I change the rate and stuff of the LFO over here, it's not. Oh, it's actually working now. Wow, that is so weird. That was not working from earlier. Okay, great. Wow. I don't know if it was human error earlier. Anyway, I'm really glad that's working now. Okay, wonderful. And so we can also modulate that with one of the envelopes. I think it's envelope 1 that does it. That's on another page. Now we'll just leave that. So here we've got the volume. You know, I find it hard to remember where things are in the synth, and one of the problems is the flexible architecture. And the other problem is that everything looks very much the same because it's all just pages and pages of orange. Sometimes I found myself tweaking the LFOs waveforms, thinking that I was actually tweaking the oscillator. So I'm not really crazy about the design, to be honest. I think it's very easy to get lost in this, and it pulls me out of flow because I'm often having to think, where am I and where is that thing that I'm looking for? How do I get to it? So here we can modulate the volume with this LFO. But I think there's a bug because when I change the waveform here, it all just sounds like sine wave. So I don't know. Oh, there's the sub, by the way. We got a high pass filter here. And here, let's hear the filter. So that's just with no resonance. And that's with a pretty high, let's put it to the highest resonance. So again, if you're familiar with the original hardware, please comment on how nice you find this cutoff. I mean, how convincing you find or how authentic you find the filter sweep, I mean. They sound pretty nice to me. And we got an option to change the filter slope as well. And we can modulate this from envelope 2 or envelope 1, just toggle here. And we can also bring in modulation from the LFO. So let me just reset this. And let's press this. So now we're on this page here with some unison controls. So we can turn the unison on, increase the number of voices. We have detune, stereo controls, and a sync. Otherwise, the voices will run free. This will sync them at the start of every note. Sounds very nice, I think. Chorus. Now, if we tap here, we get an arpeggiator, some place where we can set what will be arpeggiated when we use the arpeggiator down here. Will it arpeggiate all the oscillators or just oscillator 2 or 1 or what? So, all include the sub-oscillator. A few band controls here. Chorus, rate, depth, and mix. Again, let us know how good you find the chorus, how authentic or whatever, if you're familiar with the hardware. Reverb, there are 2 options, Sparkle Hall and Epic Verb. On this, I like the Sparkle one, I must say. Now, let me just change the audio going into this here. So I'm going to change this just to the absolute bare bones init patch. And turn on the ARP here. And so we have up and down, random. We can change the range and the rate and so on. There's no free rate option. I wish there was. It's just synced rates. If you're just putting in one note as well, you can control what the interval will be here. I think it's for when you're putting in just one note anyway. Let's see. See, this is a bit annoying. It's almost just right to fit there, but I have to resize it. Okay, so. Okay. This is for the range, okay. So, if I have this up here, that second higher note is going to be an octave up. And if I change this like here, it's just, so here, 0 semitones, right? Nice, okay. 2 semitones there, 3, 4, 5. Nice. So I guess I think this ARP is, this interval feature is an original thing from the Juno ARP. That is cool. I really like that. Hadn't actually played with that before. I thought I knew what it did, but that was wrong. Okay. So a few other controls, glide and legato and so on. Punk, lo-fi. That sounds nice on this. I'm not all that crazy about the crushing algorithm, the sound of it. Okay. Next, a few controls for whether the filter cutoff will be affected by the key position, how high or low you're playing, and by note velocity as well. Envelope 1, I can't remember what exactly each one does. Like envelope 2 does the main envelope, so you can see, for the amp, which I find very weird. I would thought that would be envelope 1, so that confused me a little bit at first. Right, so that's the amp envelope we're playing with there. So again, I can't remember offhand, there's 2 things that envelope 1 will act on and 2 that envelope 2 will act on. It's like filter and no pulse width modulation and something else. Here we can dial in how velocity sensitive it is. So all the way down, no velocity sensitivity like the original hardware. And if it's all the way up, then it's very velocity sensitive. No, hang on, something. You see? Anyway, you play around with it and you'll see, some of them will, even if you play softly, it'll convert it into high velocity. And another way, it'll do the opposite, and so on. And here we've got 2 extra LFOs, including a delay option as well for how soon the LFO will kick in, and a bunch of different destinations there. Okay. And a couple of XY pads as well that we can map to different things. Here there are fewer destinations available. And here, a sequencer. So let's just change this to just the bare bones init patch again. So here we're dialing in our pitches, and here we can add rests, and here the rate. Again, only quantized option. That's a pity. I'd love a free option. And gate. And look here, we can set, the number of steps, but we can also set what the sequencer will act on. Here it's just on oscillator 1. Let's bring in oscillator 2. So see there, oscillator 2 is not being sequenced, now it is, and so on. Noise, I don't remember seeing a control for noise actually anywhere in this. Some effects, a delay, an auto panner, retro, what is this, some sort of pitch detuning or something? I'm not really sure, can't really hear what it's doing. This analog pan is cool. So let me change the patch here again. So here we don't have any of this analog panning effect. If I turn this on, it will put lower notes more over to the left and higher notes more over to the right. And here we just have this spread control. So there, we're not getting that effect at all. And here we're getting it full on. You hear that low note over in the left there? With keyboard off and with this on, then here we can set how many voices will be needed for it to get full spread. So here I've set it to 3 voices. So even with just 3 voices playing, we're going to get a lot of spread. But if I put that up much higher, it's going to take more voices before it reaches the full spread. Compressor, okay. Here we go, there's the noise, okay, yeah. Yeah, so you know, the layout, I'd find it quite hard to get used to the way some things are laid out in this. Nice sounding saturation, I think. Okay, so I hope this has been useful for you, everyone. Again, let me know your thoughts in the pinned comment. Or sorry, not in the pinned comment, just in the regular comments. Pinned comments for me. Okay, I'll take it easy and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.